Hey guys, Anthony Beckham here. Welcome to the channel where real estate is life. Today we're gonna be winding back the clocks to be talking about my very first deal as a 21-year-old real estate agent, brand new to the business. And so make sure to stick around all the way to the end so that you can hopefully catapult yourself from getting your very first deal as a real estate agent to selling over 100 homes a year like I am now. So let's not waste any time and let's hop right in. So I got my real estate license as a 21-year-old kid. I mean, I was moving straight out of my mom's spare bedroom into a house, my first house that I had bought just 2 months prior to getting my real estate license. And I was driving a 2000 beat up Honda Civic, and I was 21 years old, so I didn't have any friends or anybody that was interested in buying houses. So I knew as a new real estate agent, it was gonna take a lot of work to get my first deals rolling. So because I didn't really have anywhere to get business, there is one thing that I did right, and that was hanging around the top real estate agent in my county. So I was spending a lot of time around her and her team, and we ended up working out a deal where I could hold open houses at her listings on the weekend. And I mean, that did all right. I did meet a lot of people that way. It was a good way to get face-to-face with clients. But honestly, like, my mom and grandma would just show up at them because I did a newspaper ad. And so grandma would always find the newspaper ad, figure out where I was gonna be that weekend, and come and hang out and eat all my snacks. So, I didn't make a whole lot of progress probably off of those open houses, but it was a good way to get me rolling. So after a few months of doing these open houses, my first 3 months as a real estate agent, unfortunately, I still didn't have any closed deals or anything pending. So the next right thing I did as a new real estate agent was I joined this online coaching program that I found. It was $1,000, had a bunch of modules, and I felt like that got me started in the right direction. I was able to get all my ducks in a row, and I also learned how to generate online leads, which was a huge, supplemental gain of leads from what I was getting from the open houses. And it gave me a lot more potential buyers and sellers to talk to. Between some strategies that I had learned from this coaching program that I had gone through, I found out how to generate, online leads from Facebook, by posting in Facebook groups and that sort of thing. And so I was having some success with that. And I also started with Zillow leads as well. And I mean, I had no job, I had no income. I had just bought my first house, so I had a mortgage to pay. And so it's not like I had a whole lot of money to put in to start, with the paid online advertising. And so I started out with just $100, and that was enough to start getting some leads coming in. And I mean, I had nothing better to do as a new agent. So I was calling these people probably like twice a day, every day, every week, and building relationships with real people who were interested in buying and selling real estate. So after just a couple of weeks of generating these online leads, I got a call from a guy named Robert and his girlfriend Amanda, and they'd been living in this rental, and unfortunately, they'd been there for years, but unfortunately the landlord wanted to sell the property, and they were asking, a lot more than Robert could afford. And so that's why he was calling and, looking into buying his own first house. So it wasn't long before, I was sending him listings, and he found some stuff that he wanted to go take a look at. And so I scheduled the appointment. I showed up, dumb kid in these dumb looking shoes that I thought were professional shoes, some skinny jeans and a polo, went up and knocked on the seller's door. I had never even opened a lockbox before. I mean, so I'm sure that it didn't go the smoothest. I remember it being kind of awkward because I didn't really know what to do. I mean, the best thing I knew about showing a house was HD TV, like, here's the kitchen, here's the bathroom. Anyway, but it all turned out. We started looking at more and more houses, and it wasn't long before we found one that they wanted to put an offer on. So Robert decides he wants to put in an offer on this place, and I never written an offer before, so I basically just said, like, yeah, I'll go back to the office and I'll work on getting it written up and I'll give you a call or whatever. I absolutely had no idea. So in the car on the way back to my house, I call my principal broker and I'm just like, what do I do next? Like, I don't even know. And he more or less just kind of like walked me through the process, held my hand through the whole thing as we got this offer written, and just basically everything I did, I sent to the principal broker first so that he could take a look at and I could make sure that I was doing it right. And luckily, the offer got accepted and I had my first deal pending. I was super excited, but of course, we still had a long way to go. It wasn't long after I got Robert and Amanda pending on their deal that I started to pick up some momentum. So while they were in escrow, I actually got a call from a guy named Jaime, and he was calling about a property he wanted to plant grapes on. So I kind of figured out his backstory. He lives in California. He has a couple dozen employees. They all come up here to Oregon and they work on the vineyards. We have a lot of vineyards around here. Well, he wanted to buy, 5 acres or so that he could plant grapes and basically showcase what him and his company is able to do. So it was in the process of finding out, Jaime's situation and what he was looking for. We ended up writing an offer on a 5-acre parcel that he wanted to plant grapes on. Well, I had to go meet him at the local hotel for him to sign papers, and that's when I found out that he had almost 15 employees that were staying there at the hotel as well, and he was spending thousands of dollars, probably a week, honestly, just to house all of his employees here at the hotel. So I had mentioned, why don't we look into multifamily properties, like a triplex or fourplex or something, so that you can house some of these guys here in town and save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars. So Jaime was totally down with the deal. He was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Go find me something. So I found him this duplex, and it was only like a week later, of course, he was putting in a cash offer. He was getting a HELOC on his home so that he had the cash. That's a home equity line of credit where he was able to pull equity out of his home. So he had the cash, and we had a cash offer on this duplex, and he was super motivated to buy it because he was going to be able to keep, however many people in the two-bedroom units that were there in the duplex. That deal actually ended up closing before Robert and Amanda's deal because cash deals go that much faster. So I ended up closing on Jaime's deal on April 7th, and then I ended up closing on Robert's deal April 27th, so 20 days apart. So within the first 4 months of being a real estate agent, I had now closed 2 real estate deals. So in that time of closing Jaime and Robert's deal, I had actually put a couple more deals in escrow from my open houses. Those were finally starting to pay off, people that I had been following up with for, several months now at that point. So while I was in the process of getting Robert and Jaime's deal closed, I was finally starting to get some momentum with these open houses, so there was these people that I had been meeting in open houses, showing houses to, following up with for months, and had finally started to put some of them in escrow. And so I actually got attention from an agent that lived in the neighboring town that heard from my real estate office that I had 6 deals pending, in my first few months, and that I was a real go-getter. So he referred me a cash buyer, and I quickly had that one pending too, and could start to see the momentum building up. So each time that I closed a deal with Zillow, I would up my ad spend a little bit, because I started out with that $100, probably made 5 or 7 grand or something in April, and was like, okay, wow, I need to do more of that. So I bumped it up maybe $100, couple $100 each time that I had a closing, and just let that start to build up on itself. And since most of the open houses that I was running were at these higher end, higher price point luxury homes, I kept that going so that I had a decent mix between these big deals where I could make like 10 grand in one pop, and the online leads, which gave me more entry-level first-time home buyer. And I really started to get the deals rolling in between just those 2 prospecting methods. So in that first year as a 21-year-old brand new real estate agent, I ended up closing 23 deals, which gave me a net income of $100,000. At first, my stretch goal was to do like 12 closings and to make 60 grand, because I had made 30 grand at my job that I had quit before I had become a real estate agent, and my stretch goal was to double that, which I did not think I was gonna hit at all, and instead I almost doubled that goal. So the lesson here is that it took me 4 months before I even made my first penny as a real estate agent. And you can see that it was in my 4 to 6 month time in the business that I actually started closing a few deals a month and getting that consistent income. And I attribute that to these few key principles. Number one being self-development. You know, I spent at least a couple hours a day, you know, reading books, listening to audiobooks, podcasts, YouTube videos, and of course that coaching program. And I still to this day spend a good 2 hours of self-development just trying to soak up knowledge from those who have done what I am trying to do. So that was a huge component. Number two, I picked and stuck to 2 solid lead generation strategies. So I did the open houses and I did the online leads, and I developed systems and processes around that lead conversion that we still use to this day on my team. And 3, honestly, was just staying consistent. You know, waking up, putting in that hard work every day, making those calls, and just sticking to it, knowing that you may not get paid for 3, 6, or even more months down the road, because real estate is a long game. So I hope that you guys are able to take these few lessons and these stories of my first clients and first sales, and hopefully that motivates and inspires you to go out there and do the same, or to even beat me your first year in real estate. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can follow us on the journey to real estate millionaire, and of course slap around that like button for me a little bit, and I will see you guys on the next one. See ya. Love you too. Bye.